What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well today. Do you remember that 125 video of Jimmy Dakotas where his bike didn't really bike off the line and he was probably, I don't know, maybe like a minute behind everyone, and he comes through almost the entire pack throughout the race, and even on a 125 hits an absolutely massive double almost every lap, and it's probably like one of the most satisfying to watch GoPro videos of all time. Yeah, this is this track. This is it DeChambeau? I know it's a little bit of a French-Canadian pronunciation in there, so not too sure on that one. However, we're going to be playing it today in MX Bikes. Created by Mr. Kevin Fuela. This is all part of his Canadian Triple Crown series, and track looks really, really nice. Looks very flowy. Not too rough, which is nice. And I've spun 2 laps already just to see how it goes, and despite the textures, it's not actually sand traction, so we should be barking around here. There's some rough bits like this where you might end up jumping into the corners, but I'm actually quite excited to see just what sort of speeds we can get going around here. Now, I'm not going to be riding a 125 like Mr. Dakotas. I'm going to be on the TM450 again because I don't really want to touch any other bikes right now other than the bike that I'll be using for the LAN event. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing, and I hope you enjoy the video. For all of you passionate gamers, you can now get 20% off all G Fuel products worldwide by using code LINS at checkout. And for any of you motorheads looking for some new drip or apparel, use code MXPR_LINS15 fxrracing.eu to get 15% off. All links and codes are in the description down below. Enjoy the video and drop a cheeky little like and subscribe. We did get sent the drip through, by the way, to take some screenshots of ourselves beforehand. We're rocking the old City boots, which I can't believe I didn't have downloaded before. And we got some Acerbis gear and gloves, which I actually think looks quite nice. Basically, there's 10 of us that have qualified, and each person has like their own different colour. So let's say, for example, number 1 is red, like 3 might be blue, 7 might be purple, etc. I've ended up with green, and I don't think it looks too shabby at all. And very luckily for me, on the City boots, there is a Italian MX of Nations colourway, which goes really, really nicely with this setup overall. So I'm very, very happy, man. I'm recording this on Thursday, so this is literally my very, very last day of playing the game before we go away, and we're going try hard, boys. Like, to the extent of, and the reason I haven't got face cam on right now because it's fully messed up with my setup. I've shown, well, on Instagram, there's been very, very brief glimpses of the stage and the setups that we're going to be playing on at the event, and the monitor looks kind of unnaturally high, and we don't have a desk. So I mean, we've got a chair, which thankfully has armrests because I do play with my arms on the armrest, so that should be fine. But then we've got desk, and we've got no desk, and monitors slightly higher up than usual. In my room and my setup at the moment, I have a stand-up desk if I want it to be. So I've increased the height a little bit, and I'm just sitting here practicing, so my camera's like way off where it would usually be. And I just thought, for the sake of getting a nice, easy video done and out of the way with too much faffing about, I just rock it as it is. So no face cam today, unfortunately. However, you'll probably see a lot of my face when the time comes and the vlog's all sorted and uploaded. And I've only just had a thought today, actually, that I need to buy a card reader, an SD card reader for my PC, because it doesn't do it just by the USB that comes with it that charges the camera. So that's another little investment. So the video might be a couple days after the event. It won't be like the quickest turnaround ever, but I'm hoping to just get back to the whole content grind as soon as I return, and it should be some very, very good fun. I'm excited for it. Obviously, always going to be a little bit nervous going into things like this because you don't know what to expect. You know, it's not my first time in Italy, but it's my first time going to Milan. You know, it's still an unknown area for me, but all should be good fun. Been informed that we're getting picked up in like you know the shuttle between like airport and hotel. We're being picked up in a Dodge Ram truck, which is actually quite cool. Being from the UK, and to be fair, in most of Europe, we don't have these massive trucks, but Dodge are one of the sponsors of the whole event, so really, really cool. Just interesting to see the size difference, really. I mean, we have a couple of trucks here that people use as like their daily drives in the UK, but if we're talking about size comparison, it's nothing like the American trucks. They're not really practical. Like, our roads are quite narrow anyway. Our parking spaces are absolutely tiny. I drive a tiny Ford Fiesta at the moment. Like, it's such a small car. And even some of the parking spaces that I need to get in, just in day-to-day life, I have to like try and squeeze my big old bunda between car door and the car next to me because the the gaps are just so small, so you wouldn't be able to practically drive a big truck. As much as I would like to, I really am tempted to go down the truck route for my next vehicle, but in terms of fuel, not really the most efficient. They're a little bit costly, and then also in terms of just the size of them, it's just not practical. So we'll see. But I'm excited to be driven about in one of those anyway. Should be very good, very cool experience. And for those of you that didn't know, the top 3 finishers at this event, so our event's on Saturday, whoever of us finishes in the top 3, we then get entered into another competition on Sunday, which is racing in like a driving sim rig, so like pedal and wheels. Which is cool, but I'm a very, very heavy-footed individual. I've played with a steering wheel and pedals like a couple of years ago on F1 games per se, and the amount of times I'd lock up my brakes or like spin the back end round because I'm just so heavy-footed. I can kind of gently do triggers with fingers because I've just been doing that for years, but when it comes to feet, yeah, not so much. But apparently people like Cairoli and Danny Pedrosa are going to be entered into that as well. So that should be good fun. Might be able to get a couple of signatures, although I'm not sure what I want them to sign, because my dad wants me to get a few signatures too, because he's got some... I mean, there's going to be a bunch of his... I wouldn't say idols isn't the right word, but, you know, riders that he's a big fan of, whether it's like Pedrosa, Cairoli, I believe Mr. Billy Bolt's going to be there as well, who he really enjoys. So it should be good fun. Not sure what to get signed though. I don't know if to... We're being given like t-shirts for the event, you know, like an EICMA esports like jersey as such that we're wearing when we're playing. And it is white, so that might actually be the one to get signed, because the rest of... Like, majority of my clothing is just black. Being a little bit on the fluffier side of individuals, black is a nice slimming colour for me. So yeah, I tend to wear black quite often. And this is... So, I asked if I could get anything like t-shirt or pants from FXR related, so I could be seen wearing FXR stuff on stream, since we're not going to be we're going to be wearing t-shirts provided by the event, so that's not going to have FXR on it. And I received a pair of pants today, or trousers for the non-US viewers, and I also received a hat. The pants fit really, really well around the waist. However, I'm not sure if just the general height of everyone is increasing, or if I am just a short ass, say at like 5'7", 5'8". But they're very, very long, to the point where they would probably go past the end of my shoes. So I'm not going to be able to wear them, and then I must just have a massive head, because the hat is like a little bit too tight. It's an elasticated one, so it's not like I can make manual adjustments to it, so the size is the size. I put it on my head, I wore it for about a minute, took it off, and I literally had just like a red ring around my head when I took it off, because I've just got a fat old meathead. I think it's not silly, I think I'm like a large adult or medium adult, so it's not crazy big, but I guess people's heads are usually just a little bit smaller. So not sure what I'll be rocking FXR related at the event, but I will try my best to sneak a little bit of product placement in there in one way or another. So yeah, basically almost every single night this week I've been putting in like 2 hours or so at a minimum, sometimes more, sometimes less, but that's just on average. Just trying to get used to this bike, either on a lot of Supercross tracks, yeah, but then I've tried doing it on non-Supercross tracks too, just to get an overall muscle memory of the bike and not just solely Supercross orientated. And please stay on the track. I feel like I've ridden this TM so much now, where it's almost like a extension of myself. Like, I kind of know what it's going to do at all times, and that doesn't stop me crashing by any means. I still crash a hell of a lot on it, but it's like I know when I'm going to crash now. They are just mistakes that I've made myself. The suspension that I'm rocking on it right now is incredibly springy. You know, I think like the rebound on it's fully maxed out at like 39 clicks, something crazy like that. But it is a Supercross suspension to try and get me through whoop sections. And this whoops has been a little bit of a topic of interest for us, because we've got our own like qualifiers Discord channel at the moment where we've all been talking about the event. And basically, because the entire 2023 Supercross season that we had, every single track had a different set of whoops, like they were built in a completely different way to one another. And we'll find a setup that works well in one set of whoops, but then can't get through the very next track. So it's really, really difficult to try and find something that you're happy going into the event on. So I generally feel like it might be a case of people are changing setups on the fly on the day, which is going to be a very nerve-wracking experience. I think we get about 10 minutes of practice, like 15 minutes of qualifying for our gate pick, and then we got one main event, which is like the standard 20 plus 1. So it's not really a whole lot of time to learn a track. I'm hoping that my racecraft will take me through, and I suppose I want to be realistic with it. Everybody wants to win, you know, like prizes aside, there's a massive sense of pride and achievement in, you know, winning the first MX Bikes LAN event. Regardless if, you know, like a large portion of the higher tier racers aren't competing, mostly because of age restrictions, being over 18. But regardless on who is there competing, you still want to be able to say that you've won it. Now, I would be happy taking home a top 3 regardless, because the top 3 prizes are almost identical to each other, and you know, I wouldn't mind a little free vacation to Qatar. You know, take the missus on holiday. I'm sure she'll be happy with that. But then at the same time, I wouldn't be happy if like the worst case scenario happened and my game crashed and I got 9th or 10th and I got to go and watch an MXGP at like an 8. So I'm really indifferent in terms of prizes now at this point, in all honesty. So I'm just going to show up and try my best. That's all I can really do. I think that's all anyone could do, and it'll be quite interesting to see how everybody handles pressure. Because having a look at the setup, how it works is we're on the stage, but our backs are going to be to everybody. So it's going to feel like you've got all of these eyes looking over your shoulder, watching you play, and it's going to be very interesting to see how people cope with that. Although they're not physical eyes when I live stream, they are still eyes in a way. When I look across at my stream when I'm racing and I see like the number 300, you feel like there's pressure on you because you've got 300 or so people watching you play all at one time, watching stuff like that happen. So I'm hoping that will kind of help me with dealing with pressure. Some people play with music, so I think they're bringing music with them to shove in their ears. We're all allowed a mechanic each. So I have chosen Charlie, of course. Who else would I choose? Who's going to be in Discord with me during the time of the race to give me any important information. Unfortunately, it can't be like in real time. They're going to be like a minute or so delayed because they're only allowed to watch the stream. They're not allowed in the actual server itself. So it'll be a little bit delayed, but you can give me important information like kind of how long's left, you know, what the gap is in front or behind, because I don't think any of us are going to be running max HUD just to not risk any game crash issues. So we will be a little bit blind for the most part, but you know, I've been practicing with that, and I'm just going to kind of race as well as I can until I see everybody stop racing because the flag's gone out. I think the most awkward thing is going to be afterwards. Like, imagine you've had a really, really bad race. Well, imagine I've had a really, really bad race and say that I just kept crashing over and over. Maybe I finished in like P8 and I'm fuming. You know how angry I get when I make stupid mistakes over and over again. And then having to do a little interview afterwards. If they interview everyone, maybe they'll only do top 3. That would make sense. But yeah, if I get interviewed afterwards when I'm fuming at MX Bikes, it's going to take every fibre of my being to try and actually be normal. But I suppose by the time you guys are seeing this video, it would probably just be coming to an end, because the whole thing starts around 2 and they expect it to finish at about 4 on Saturday, and my videos go live at 4. So if you're watching this when it goes out, and by any means that you was watching the live stream on the EECMA Twitch channel, then I don't know what to tell you. If I done well, then yay me. If I done awful, then by all means feel free to call me garbage in the comments. I'll accept it. I'll own up to it. But yeah, the videos the last couple of days, I know there's not been much editing that's gone into them. People have noticed that. But I am under a little bit of a time crunch in regards to trying to just get stuff pumped out and ready to go. I don't want to be doing things, you know, last minute, late at night. I have to get up super early tomorrow morning or Friday morning and just go to the airport and get things sorted. I just don't want any additional stress that I don't need. So I hope you have accepted the, I want to say, low production value videos over the last few days. I might not have something for you tomorrow and possibly Monday, but then after that we should be back to normal. We'll see how it goes. But I think after all of this this waffling about LAN event for like the 4th video in a row, I feel like I should talk about the track a little bit, in which it flows very, very nicely. It's not quite as rough as it was in Jimmy's GoPro, but I don't mind that. That seems like that was kind of one of them, you know, last race of the day kind of vibes, whereas this is kind of maybe after one race. I like the way that he's built the bumps, because it's that sort of rolling chop that you can double your way through and is predictable. It's not like super, super harsh and it kicks your front and back end all over the place. It flows really, really nicely. The double is very satisfying. I don't think that double is doable on a 125. Someone will probably prove me wrong and post a video of it, but right at this moment in time, I'm just kind of getting it clean on a 450, so yeah, 125 maybe not so much. I think Kevin's track quality has really stepped up in the last year. I think they all look amazing. The height maps have been really enjoyable as well, and they've just been really good, fun tracks overall. So I just want him to keep at it. He's doing a really good job. And I hope you guys have been enjoying the tracks, and I hope you've enjoyed the video as well. If you could drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new, I would greatly appreciate it. And I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.